Hey, Hannah, what's up?
Oh, hey, nothing much. Just, getting everything together here. The mixing boards and stuff are a little clogged from the blood from last recording, so I'm just trying to clean that out.
I tried to clean up as much as I can. I'm really bad at cleaning up blood. Not because I'm afraid of blood, but because any kind of liquid is difficult for me to clean up. Just I don't own a mop or anything, so I have a lot of napkins from I think these are from KFC, and KFC napkins are not that good for mopping things up with.
Really not. KFC has horrible napkins.
Yeah, no, that's the worst thing about them is their napkins.
No, I'm using paper towels, so it's probably going to make some sort of garbage man very suspicious later. But it's what I got. So.
Yeah, I mean, garbage men are just kind of like that. It's isn't Batman refer to garbage men as being a superstitious and cowardly lot? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, I wouldn't know, to be honest, but that sounds right.
Oh, right. That sounds like, I'm pretty sure it's a Batman thing. It's probably from one of the Christopher Nolan movies. He was weird about the Batman canon.
Yeah, he really messed with Batman canon a lot from what I understand.
Well, he did. Well, I mean, the fact that he actually created for the movies an actual Batman canon that fired him places instead of him using transportation, that was maybe the weirdest thing about the movies, I thought.
Oh, okay. I see. I always thought that was something that he pulled straight from the comic books.
No, that's the one, I know it seems dumb and cartoony enough to be in a comic book, but no, that was totally a Nolan invention.
Huh.
Which is weird because it totally doesn't go with the whole dark and gritty thing he was otherwise doing. It's nope, I'm gonna have this big circus cannon I get fired out of.
Weird. All right.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I'm glad you're here. It sucks that it's just, it doesn't suck that it's just the two of us hosting, but it's going to be a kind of a weird adjustment,
Yeah, it's, the last episode we did, it was just the two of us, and it's kind of weird not to have Xander's random commentary, happening throughout our podcast here, and, I kind of miss
it. Did it feel like the conversation went a little more smoothly to you,
honestly? It did, because, you and I know each other really, really well, and I'm still fairly new to Xander's acquaintance, so there's some things to work out, but,
Yeah.
I feel like the podcast itself tends to work better with three.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, no, it felt like there wasn't as many references to, Transformers or weird porn or lots of I don't know, just in general I felt a lot more comfortable and valued as a host, and it was weird. I mean, I'm probably just imagining stuff, but no, I was totally fine. The show is good. I like the show all the time with everyone.
Well, then I guess that's my cue. Hey guys, what's up?
Oh my god,
hey, Xander! Wait, what? Hey,
Xander.
Huh?
Weren't you dead before?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always been alive. I mean, there's no death. Whose blood is that?
Well,
I hope that isn't Nathan's blood.
No, it's not my blood. It's someone else's blood. Your blood, I thought.
Yeah,
no,
tasted like your blood.
All my blood's in my body.
We were worried about you.
No, I saw all your blood, and it tasted just like your blood, and it was all over the everything basically. And I cleaned it all up, and we did a whole show where we thought you were dead. I thought you had died to death, and now you're alive to living, and it's strange.
I am perfectly fine.
Where have you been?
No, I've been out. I've just been out and about, and apparently you guys recorded a podcast without me, and that's incredibly insensitive.
Well, I texted you to have you. I told you to tell me if you were dead, and you didn't. And then I told you to text me if you were alive, and you also didn't. So I didn't have.
I got no such message.
You were
I don't know what
Schrodinger's
you're talking about.
sidekick, and. I thought you haven't been tweeting, and you haven't been on Tumblr, and you haven't been on Facebook, and I haven't seen you hiding in that dumpster where you throw things at people. I haven't seen you anywhere.
I've just been busy, Nathan. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I don't mean to be rude. I'm sorry too. I thought you were dead, and I became very invested in the thought that you were dead, and now I don't know how to react.
What do you mean invested? Are you trying to say that you are happier without me?
Probably.
I didn't say things. I don't say words. What do you... No.
Well, I'm here now.
Let's...
Okay, Xander.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, let's
yeah, hello.
Let's see how this
ShallowCast.
goes, and we'll do the thing.
Show. Yeah. ShallowCast. Show. Xander.
Shallow Xandercast.
My stomach hurts.
Okay.
Why did you let them on board in the first place? Well, at first they seem nice, but turns out they're, Bizarro!
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre! Ooh, baby! Me, no, I'm Superman. You am Superman. Superman, save Lois.
Hi, and welcome back to ShallowCast, where the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I am the illustrious Xander Grimm, along with Nathan Soros and Black Hole Girl, and today we're going to talk about a variety of things. Among those, apparently, the internet likes a lot of people, and sometimes those people are absolutely terrible, although they have some good opinions, and apparently bad-mouthing them can get you into quite a bit of trouble, which we've talked about before when I started an accidental flame war over Power Rangers on Tumblr.
Oh, I remember that.
Even though I was right.
That was way back in season
right.
1 of this show.
That wasn't season 1. That was like episode 1.
It was like 2 or it was like 1 or 2. Yeah, you very briefly talked about it.
It's like a year and a half ago.
God, I can't believe it's been on the show that long.
I have no knowledge or interest in Power Rangers, so my contribution to this is irrelevant.
That's okay.
Yes, it is.
Hey.
But,
hey, Xander, you don't gotta be mean.
Anyway.
Sure I do.
Go
ahead.
I started thinking about this subject yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, because, you know, the guy that draws the oatmeal wrote that really lengthy Nikola Tesla comic a while ago. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else wrote a rebuttal to that, talking about the things he's ignoring or, you know, glossing over when it comes to Tesla. And so it became this big back and forth thing, and I tweeted about it a bunch because it's really strange to me how the internet will latch on to specific celebrities or historical figures and just, you know, raise them up onto pedestals and laud them for their achievements, and no one is ever allowed to be critical toward them, you know, like in any way at all.
Like Teddy Roosevelt.
Kind of, yeah. Like how everyone's like, oh, Teddy Roosevelt was ultimate macho man, and he fought dragons and shot Bigfoot and whatever the fuck, and so he's the coolest man in the world. And it's like, yeah, but he was kind of violent and imperialistic, and I'm pretty sure he was massively racist, like most presidents were back in that day. And so it's weird that you get these people that just have these fan followings around them, and you can't point out any of the horrible things that they did or said. Like, H.P. Lovecraft was a huge racist. Just massively, insanely racist. His dog was named a racial slur. And
what?
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat it on the show, but you can, yeah. And, like, Nikola Tesla was way into eugenics, and he used to fire his female assistants if they gained too much weight. And just, you know, all the different historical figures that have owned slaves and...
Ooh, does this mean I get to unleash my Stephen Moffat rage?
We can, because you and I have similar issues where we both hate a specific fandom darling. You have some massive issues with Stephen Moffat, and I am not a fan of Joss Whedon, as we've established.
We have.
Yeah. I'm very open about my Whedon dislike, and it's gotten me some flack on Twitter and Tumblr.
I like
and Facebook. And Instagram. And Friendster. And Last.fm. And Snapchat, and MySpace, and Words with Friends, and ICQ, and IRC chat, and 4chan, something awful, Craigslist, bus stops.
Stop it.
Okay.
You've been getting flack at bus stops?
Well, like, if I see somebody wearing a Firefly shirt, and I'm like, you know, Joss Whedon said some really awful things about transgender people, and it's like, no, everybody yells at me. So it's like, no, everywhere I go. Yes, bus stops.
Okay, then. Apparently the internet is a huge place, but also there's bus stops.
I was talking about bus stops in the real world, Xander.
Oh. Virtual bus stops.
I wasn't talking about busstops.org. Nobody goes to there anymore.
Well, maybe they should.
Well, they changed the interface so much that it's like it's impossible to navigate anymore. And it used to run off of Google Maps, but now it goes off of the Apple Maps algorithm, and Apple Maps doesn't even account for public transit, so the whole site's just become a huge mess.
Okay, then. So, back to ripping on fandom darlings.
Yeah, do you have a fandom darling you like to rip on, Xander?
I was trying to think of one, and I really can't... I guess...
There's nobody you're critical of at all?
I guess Stephanie Meyer, but I don't rip on her that much just because I haven't read any of the Twilight books or anything. So it's just like
I have.
It's like
I've read a couple.
It's people, people bring stuff up. I'm like, well, yeah, this is terrible, but like I don't digest her content like you guys do. And then rip on it.
I wouldn't. Don't imply that either of us, have ever paid for or willingly supported her. That's a little harsh.
No, I'm not talking about her specifically, but I'm talking about how, you guys watch, still watch Joss Whedon stuff and still watch Stephen Moffat stuff. Well, you know what I mean, but you've done so in the past.
Yeah.
I've never actively seeked out Stephanie Meyer stuff and read it and then ripped on her.
Consider yourself fortunate. That was not one of my best days.
No.
I can't think of anyone I'm blatantly critical of.
Well, maybe that's your problem. Maybe that's why you like so many things that I think are terrible.
It could
that
be.
would explain it.
Because you refuse to raise a critical eye to anything that's created by people that...
I mean, as we all know, Michael Bay is a genius of directing and has never done no wrongs.
What?
No, that's the opposite of a true thing.
That is incorrect, my friend.
That's so wrong.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
Okay, let's look at his... All right, Michael Bay. Well, okay, first of all...
Let's start with Michael Bay.
Yeah, let's start with the biggest target. Like, I don't know that Michael Bay even is considered a fandom darling, because a lot of the Transformers fans seem to hate him for what he's done to their series. I don't know anyone who has a technical knowledge of filmmaking who actually likes him. I don't know anyone who can write that likes how he tells his stories. I don't know anyone who can form a coherent thought that has a valid opinion that's positive towards him.
People who are into pyrotechnics like him.
Yeah, and people who are into jagged hunks of metal rolling around on freeways seem to really like his work.
So then, so if he's so terrible, how come the Transformers movies have made $3 billion worldwide?
Okay, first of all, you can't...
Because consumerism in America?
Yeah,
That's worldwide, that's not just America.
Okay.
I mean, clearly he's doing something right.
Popularity has never denoted quality. I'm a massively unpopular person, and I'm also one of the best people in the universe.
It's true.
See?
I mean, opinions may differ there, but, it...
Excuse you!
Whoa! What the fuck is with the rudeness?
What? I'm just saying. I mean... here's the thing, is that if money doesn't make the world go round, then how come all these fan favorite shows get pulled after, what, 1 season, 2 seasons maybe?
Oh,
why is it so
Community?
hard for... Well, Community's a weird case, but I'm talking about like these shows like Firefly, Joss Whedon's stuff is constantly pulled within a matter of seasons, and if he's...
Well, okay.
I mean, if it's not bringing in ratings, but people really like it, then clearly it's a good show, or it's certainly popular, but if it's not getting the right ratings, I mean...
Buffy lasted a damn long time.
Yeah, Buffy lasted 10 years
Buffy
or
did.
something. Okay,
Buffy did, and Angel did.
Firefly's issue, though, is that it's not going to catch an audience because it had a very meandering plot. It had a massively unlikable protagonist, because, I'm sorry, Malcolm Reynolds is not a likable protagonist. I'm not going to root for the guy who's a jerk to his crew and is relentlessly calling his girlfriend a whore every chance he gets.
Yeah, I kind of want to punch him in the face repeatedly every time I see him.
Yeah, no. Firefly had an unlikable protagonist, a plot that was very spotty and inconsistent, and a lot of very self-important dialogue that was, again, Joss Whedon just jerking off to his own snark. Firefly was not the pinnacle of quality that the internet holds it up to be. It was a good show, but it was not as good as we all pretend. And not to
mention it was set in a future where everybody speaks Chinese and there are no Asian people.
Yeah, there were none in the entire series in this universe where everybody can speak Chinese.
Yeah, I was always a little concerned by that fact.
It was
what
really
happened?
weird. Where did did all of the Asian people just leave? Where are
After
they?
leaving their language to the white people? No.
What? Yeah. It was weird. And then with Dollhouse was an interesting show with a good premise. It was pretty frighteningly misogynistic. And then he does the season finale. He does Epitaph 1 and throws everything about the show out. All the characters you cared about, all the plot development you cared about, it doesn't matter. It was not important. We're going to go 10 years later and nothing is valued about the first season anymore. So...
I never watched Dollhouse, and that pisses me off just hearing about it.
Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. I don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch it. It starts out being a really fascinating show, and it just deteriorates. And so all of this is to say,
So it's one of those where you gotta jump ship before it gets awful.
pretty much, I'm pretty sure I could pinpoint the exact episode where you stop watching the show and you could enjoy it up until then. Because there's some very good episodes. But all of this is to say that I think that using Whedon for this example is a bad idea. Because first of all, you know, Xander, that I am not into Joss Whedon's work. Secondly, it's pretty arguable whether or not his work is, you know, as high quality and feminist and impressive and positive as people claim that it is. Because once you get it under a microscope, it does not hold up, I think.
Oh, I suppose that's fair. I mean, we all, you know, that's fair. I'm just trying to say that I love Michael Bay, and his movies have made a lot of money, and I hope they keep making money.
Yeah, but making money doesn't mean something is good.
But it means they keep getting made, so there's got to be some bit of quality there. It's clearly good for somebody.
Well, okay, people are responding positively to it, but people respond positively to all kinds of things you dislike.
Well, that's true, but
There's always going to be somebody who responds positively to something, no matter how awful it is.
Yeah, there's a market for everything you can think of. I mean, you can just look at all of the shitty fan fiction people write about any franchise, and there's always a market for that, no matter how bad and vile and horrible it is. So the fact that somebody is willing to pay for it or to consume it in some way isn't a mark of quality.
Frickin' bronies.
Basically, yeah.
So shifting gears then, because we talked about Michael Bay, who's amazing, and then we talked about Joss Whedon, who's apparently not so amazing. Another person that we mentioned, Hannah specifically, was Stephen Moffat. And I actually really like his stuff as well. I guess I don't really pinpoint like what episodes he writes and which ones he doesn't, but I mean, so far his run on Doctor Who's been pretty good. And apparently Hannah has time traveled to the 1930s.
That did sound like old-timey screen crackling. Was that? I think she was growling, though. And I'm a little scared.
That was a growl, because I have very strong negative feelings towards Stephen Moffat.
Like, if she was sitting... If her bed was closer to the wall, she could punch a hole through it, and I'd see her fist come through my closet wall. So we shouldn't provoke the Stephen Moffat thing, I think.
She does know Kung Fu.
Yeah, so. I don't want to stir up the Stephen Moffat thing.
Too late. Oh, all right, so Stephen Moffat. All right. When the new Doctor Who was created, and it was under the leadership of Russell T Davies, it had some issues, it had some problems, but Russell T Davies made it work very well. He had very elegantly crafted storylines, and most importantly, all of his female characters were their own people. They did not exist to be an accessory to the Doctor. Now, during this era, Stephen Moffat wrote some individual episodes that were absolutely stunning. For example, Blink. I don't think I know of a single person who's watched the new Doctor who didn't enjoy Blink.
I haven't seen it still.
The premiere episode of The Weeping Angels. We'll get you to it. It's actually an excellent episode.
It really is. And it doesn't really require a lot of... It requires, like, no backstory.
Well, I've watched up until...
Yeah, you don't have to know Doctor Who.
I've seen up until... I saw up until Rose left the show in series 2, I believe. And then I saw everything from the Donna Noble run. I haven't seen any of the stuff with Martha Jones. So we
will get you to Martha Jones, because Martha is amazing and I adore her to little bits.
Yeah, I have a pretty good grasp of Doctor Who with the exception of
one season. No, Martha is the best.
She's okay.
So I have a good grasp of Doctor Who with the exception of one season, but I haven't seen Blink, and I haven't seen any Stephen Moffat stuff, except, didn't you say he did Midnight?
I don't actually recall. I'd have to look it up.
Well, I know he did Silence in the Library, and that's actually a very good episode.
I believe he did do Midnight. So again, he's very good at doing individual episodes during the Russell T Davies reign. However, when we switched from David Tennant as the 10th Doctor to Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, Russell T Davies moved off of the scene and Stephen Moffat took over as showrunner. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Stephen Moffat is also one of the main showrunners for the BBC Sherlock series.
And I bet everybody knows that by now.
Some of these same issues, yeah. I have some of the same issues with both of these.
Yeah.
One of the things that I absolutely despise about Stephen Moffat is specifically in the context of Doctor Who. In the past, every single new Doctor has brought something new and worthwhile to the character.
Mm-hmm.
They have made a incredibly deep and soul-searching decision in one way or another. They have progressed the narrative forward.
It's kind of like how... I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like how when you get Christopher... Is it Christopher Eggleston?
Yes.
Christopher Eggleston is 9. He plays the Doctor as being alternately really mournful and sad and trying to find, joy and excitement in the universe again. It's like he's trying to recapture the things about himself that he loved, the things about being a Time Lord he loved. And then David Tennant, his sadness and his loss comes from a different place because he's lost friends again. He got to a place where he was happy with the people in his life and they started being taken away from him. And so he, I feel like he still is pretty guilty about the Time Lord stuff, but his sadness and his pain is more because he doesn't want to lose his friends anymore at this point. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I'm interpreting how they play the characters.
No, I'd say that's a very valid interpretation, and which actually plays right into why I think the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith, was just completely run into the ground. Now, I personally think that Matt Smith, as the 11th Doctor, would have been an absolutely phenomenal Doctor if he hadn't been getting fed scripts that Stephen Moffat was feeding him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because of Stephen Moffat, the entire 11th Doctor era was run into the ground and just stomped on repeatedly. As an example, nearly every large thing that the 11th Doctor did was in somehow erasing or resetting or somehow manipulating something so that the consequences of his decisions and his actions, even if it was from a past incarnation of the Doctor, were no longer valid. The 11th Doctor is one big trip through time and space trying to avoid the consequences of his own actions, which in the past has been the exact opposite of everything the Doctor has stood for. He has, granted, he's, jumped into his TARDIS and just flown off into the ether, but there's always something keeping him accountable to what he has and has not done.
Yeah, he tends to take on other people's responsibility, too, a lot of the time.
Exactly. And now, during the Stephen Moffat era, almost everything that he does is fobbed off onto somebody else. It's never his fault. He never has to deal with the consequences. And that's not even going into the absolutely blatant sexism and LGBT erasure that Stephen Moffat has done, that Russell T Davies in his era put a lot of effort and time and love and blood and sweat and tears into putting things like that into his various episodes, whereas Stephen Moffat just plays it off as a joke and laughs into the sunset.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people discussing it on like the Mary Sue and on different people's Tumblrs and Twitter feeds, and it sounds like there's a lot of people that are just super unhappy with the way he runs the show. I've read a few of the interviews where he just kind of laughs off people's criticism and stuff, and it seems like he doesn't have a lot of respect for his audience.
Stephen Moffat has zero respect for his audience. He likes to jerk them around on a chain and watch them try and struggle through this wild goose chase he sends them on during, whatever episode of whatever show it is that he's currently airing. He likes watching us try and struggle to keep up with him versus almost any other good screenwriter. Yes, the struggle is part of the journey in the story, but you don't want to make it frustrating for your viewers. Mm-hmm. You don't want to make it angering that they are having to try and follow along with this absolutely convoluted logic that makes zero sense, and in some cases completely nullifies anything that has been done in the past. Now, granted, when you have 50 years of a TV show, it is hard to maintain consistency, mm-hmm. but that is one thing that Russell T Davies always did very, very well, is that he really went all out to try and maintain consistency with the previous incarnations of the Doctor, where Stephen Moffat will give a throwaway reference to, oh, hey, remember when this one thing happened? Ha 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 ha. It's a very Family Guy-esque version of humor, and I despise it.
I like Family Guy.
Yeah, you do, and that's another problem we have, is you like Family Guy.
Why do we even have you around? None of us have common interests with you, Xander.
What? Somebody finally said it. Hey, Xander likes Godzilla, though. That's a thing.
Well, that is true,
I do.
Actually. Xander does like kaiju and Godzilla.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, kaiju stuff is good. So Xander's good for that. It's just that, like, his opinions on Family Guy and Transformers and Doctor Who and lots of other things are not that great. But some of his opinions are really good. Like, Xander, say a thing that's something that I like too.
Yay for 98 Godzilla?
No!
What's wrong with you?
No, what?
What do you mean
No!
what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with me.
What the... Xander,
Okay,
what?
you know what? You've been really quiet this entire time, and every time you speak, you're saying things that are very, very unusual. So what is going on with
Insane
you?
with
Are you
rage.
okay?
What do you mean what's going on with me?
Why are
Nothing's
you-
going on
why
with
are you
me.
saying-
I've been gone. I'm gone for 2 days, maybe, and you guys come in, and I come in. I'm trying to record a podcast with my best friends, and you're accusing me of being dead, and now you're
were
accusing
dead.
me of.
And maybe you should
No,
have
I
stayed
was
that
not.
way because now
I
you're
am right in
dead.
front of you. What the
Now
hell are
you're
you
alive
talking
and your
about?
opinions are crappy. Maybe you should have stayed dead so you got better opinions.
Oh, and now it all comes out.
Maybe
Now
you should have had
there we
some kind
are.
of mystical what dreams may come-esque trip through the afterlife that brought you to an epiphany about how Transformers is really shitty and 1988 Godzilla is really shitty and Stephen Moffat's a bad writer and Family Guy sucks. Maybe you should have learned that when you were dead instead of coming back from the dead being a big, stupid, ugly, fat jerk who's hideous and smelly and is rude to his friends.
What
Wow.
dreams may come and involved reincarnation, not resurrection. I think you got that reference wrong.
You could have gotten reincarnated into someone who isn't a douche. I'm sorry, I don't know where all that came from.
Wow.
I don't either.
Look, you set me off with the Godzilla thing. I don't. Why?
See, now you're accusing me of me being different, but Nathan's the one over here running into a little tiny shit fit.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm feeling very emotional right now. This is really strange for me. First you were dead, then you're not dead, but you're mean, and now you're backing me into this corner, and I don't know how to respond. I'm sorry, but I feel like I came out here to record a good podcast.
I just came out
and
to
I'm
have
honestly
some fun today, and
feeling,
honestly, I'm feeling
very attacked right now.
right now.
And
Hi, welcome back to ShallowCast, where
Ow.
Nathan has just punched
Ow.
Xander in the
Ow.
face.
Ow.
I'm sorry. I got really out of control. I apologize.
I think it's okay, but you know what? He's currently holding his jaw and rocking back and forth on the floor, so I think this is a good time to let Xander actually participate in this discussion.
Look, in my defense, I was provoked. Like, I don't know where that came from. Honestly, I didn't know I had that in me. But when you start saying stuff like that about the 1998 Godzilla movie from Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, I get mad. It's not okay to say positive things about that movie around me.
Apparently, I will bear that in mind.
It is okay. It is okay to have opinions
I'm sorry.
about movies, Nathan.
Well, okay, look, I'm not saying that, but when you turn your opinions about movies into personal attacks, then I'm going to be a little defensive, and I'm sorry that I hit you.
Attack.
Oh, well, okay, look, I'm sorry I hit
And
you.
besides,
all right?
if it was a legitimate
know
bad
that you're
opinion, the body has a way of shutting that whole thing down.
Look, I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't know I was physically capable of hitting
Oh,
anyone.
apparently you
actually.
are, and it really hurt.
I'm kind of impressed, but next, I'm going to teach you some moves here because
Yeah, like my hand is a little but that kind of felt pretty good actually.
Well, if when you try and punch somebody and you punch them with the back of your hand, that's usually not a good thing.
Well, I was watching Planet of the Apes, and it's kind of how like monkeys will swing their arms around and shit. That's all I really could think of at the time. I was, because I was, a little out of control. But I'll learn to, I'll learn to get better at hurting people.
Okay,
Maybe
cool.
actually
I'll teach
knock me out next time, you wuss. Anyway,
Hey.
I wanted to come back to Transformers because you guys were hating on my favorite film franchise, and I wanted to say something about this latest one because I went and saw it the other day, and it was fucking brilliant. This is the absolute best Transformers movie so far. The characters are all well written, and they have great chemistry. The villains are believable and have really cool motives and everything. This was an absolute blast of a movie, and anyone who says otherwise is terribly wrong. And yes, it's a great movie, and everyone who says it's not is wrong.
Okay, can I ask a question about that? All right, tell me why there's a character in the film who is dating an underage girl and carries a laminated copy of the age of consent laws in Texas so he can prove it's not illegal because she consents to it and she's 18.
Because it builds character, and they explain it in the movie that they've been dating since they were both minors, so it's all okay. You don't have to worry about it.
And it's it's statutory rape that he's trying to excuse. But he keeps a laminated copy of this law in his wallet so he can show people, nope, it's not statutory rape. That's horrible. That's so vile.
It's Texas
though.
statute, dude. I mean, they're protected. You can't do anything about it. I mean, I guess it's a little weird that he's carrying around a laminated copy because you really only see it once, but it's okay. It's all good. It's excused. It's fine. You don't have to worry about it.
Is
my skin falling off? What the fuck?
What? Oh, what the? Is that?
You punched me so hard, my skin is falling off. How does that even work?
No, you're getting like drippy and gross, and there's stuff like sloughing off of you. Ew!
I don't know what you're talking about. My skin was falling off a little bit, and I.
You're like decaying like a zombie or something.
I'm not. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. Bye.
But I'm. Hannah, what the fuck? Dude was melting?
Okay, so he may have been one of my Xander clones, and he may not have been finished, and he may have escaped from my lab.
You're Xander clones? You're cloning you're cloning my idiot sidekick?
Well, I mean, he was dead. How else were we going to get him back?
Okay, that's valid, but you killed him.
Well, how else was I supposed to get his DNA? I mean, I need to make more Xander clones. Like, I need to have an army of them for my Xander apocalypse that I'm planning.
Well, I guess that's the only pleasant way of gathering his DNA, but, like, you killed Xander, and you made a clone, and you made the clone all mean.
No, that wasn't on purpose. He wasn't finished. He escaped.
Well,
no. When the cloning process is done properly, he'll be fine. He'll be just like the Xander we know and love and occasionally tolerate.
Well, okay, like, he seemed, like, really mean to me. Like, he said mean stuff, and he made me get all mad, and he made me punch someone.
He wasn't supposed to say mean things.
Okay.
He's supposed to be like Xander, like Xander used to be, but
alive.
Wasn't because,
but alive and nice to me. Okay.
Exactly.
You made me. This is like if you make Batman use a gun or you make Superman kill somebody. You made me raise my hand in violence to a dumber human being.
Batman has used a gun and Superman has killed people.
Well, yeah, but they're not, like, you're supposed to ignore that and pretend that that's, like, their moral thing they never deviate from. Like, you're supposed to pretend all the times that's happened are not canon, for some reason.
That's bullshit, and I refuse to agree with it.
No, it kind of is. Like, a lot of comic book fans really bend over backward with this justification for characters' moral codes, and that doesn't change the fact that it's really weird that you killed and cloned, I mean, you know, you're my best friend, too, but it's weird that, like, my best friend murdered my best friend and cloned him.
Well,
like,
now you get to have more of your other best friend.
I want you to understand this from my perspective. This is really weird.
No, I understand that. It's just that, you know,
okay.
What if something else had happened to him and I hadn't cloned him? Then he would just be dead and we wouldn't have him forever and ever and ever. Well, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to make it so that you always have Xander as your best friend from now until well, either the clone form breaks down and starts oozing again, or until I finally actually have the formula stabilized enough that I could actually create my army. Right now, they're just test runs. So I've probably got a couple of batches to go through before they're particularly stable.
I mean, that explains what you've been doing in the bathroom all day, but still, this is...
Actually, no, that's different, but it's...
Oh.
Yeah. It's
I don't want to know.
No, I've been making the Xander clones in the lobby of the studio.
Oh, okay. That's,
I
noticed,
like... the big green vat of bubbling ooze was?
Well, I thought it was dinner. I thought you were cooking.
Well, no, that's fair. No, that's the big bubbling vat of blue ooze. That one was dinner.
Oh, the blue... Oh, was I not... Wait.
You didn't eat the green stuff, did you?
I'm, hey, let's change the subject to another thing.
Hey guys, I'm back. Hey,
speaking of ooze, wait.
Hey.
Wow! Hey,
Xander!
Can we get like a janitor or something out there? There's like this.
Xander, you're alive.
Yeah, what? Of course.
You're alive, and you're talking, and you're not melting anymore.
No, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, come here, buddy. I missed you so much.
I missed you too. What the hell?
Ah.
What?
Oh, I'm hugging you.
I know you're
Xander,
hugging
can you hear me hugging me? Can you hear me hugging you?
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
I
I'm
can hear you
and
hugging
can
me.
hear it.
I'm right next to you, yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Hannah, what is he on
Aw.
about? Did you slip in
Aw.
something again?
My best friend is alive.
Well, he did accidentally eat some of my clone goo, but
The hell?
other
I'm
than
so
that,
happy now.
Yeah, okay.
no, that big green vat of
right,
stuff
right.
out in the lobby.
Okay, your
You
clone
passed it
thing.
by.
Can we
Yeah,
get
which
a
I did not
janitor or
eat.
something
I
outside?
did-
Because there is like a gross trail leading from the studio. I don't know. I know what you guys messed.
Is it like a snail trail or like?
I guess I don't know. I mean, it's a big snail.
Is it glowing green, and does it smell like parsnips?
I guess so. I think it's a little bit more like radishes, but whatever. I guess you guys are recording a podcast again. I mean,
Well, I thought you were dead.
what? No,
And-
I was at the movies. I was going to see that new Transformers movie. You know how much I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of it? What'd you think?
Oh, I hated it.
Crap. All right, I might need to work on these a little bit more.
I hated
hated
it. It was terrible. And what do you mean, what are you talking about?
I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh,
I'm
nothing.
so
nothing
uncomfortable
at all.
right now.
Anyway, tell
I'm
us
so
more, Xander.
uncomfortable.
It was.
Another
Yeah,
clone.
there
Another clone.
was
They're
a
all
lot of
clones.
things. There was
Everyone's
a
a
lot of
clone.
things wrong with it.
Am I even real? Is
Oh.
Hannah even real?
Yes,
Who's a a clone? There's clones.
Nathan, why are you?
Why
talking-
are you even real? Is this even an actual Xander? Is this somebody else that looks like a Xander because you fucked up?
He just needs to go a little lower.
Is it-
But yeah, no, it
walking away.
was
I'm
terrible.
standing over. I'm walking
Um,
away from you now. But what is this even? Are you even real?
I'm totally real. What?
Are
I'm
you-
allowed
Hannah,
to hate
Are you
movies.
real? Am I real? Is anything? Who is a real person and who is a clone? How deep does this go? Do I even have a belly button? Where the fuck is my belly button? Is that okay? Did you clone me with a belly button?
I didn't clone you, Nathan. Don't
I
worry.
mean, I know we
Okay.
were talking about comic books, but are you trying to reenact the fucking Clone Saga? Because that's one big mess that I don't think we should get into. And then we gotta.
No,
Then we
that's
have to
fair
get
point.
a blonde Nathan, and that would just look silly. And yeah, we
And
don't need
turns
any of
out that you were Ben Riley the entire time. I don't want to do a clone saga with you. That'd be stupid.
It would be stupid.
Well, you better be the real Xander
I am the
because
real
the last
Xander. I just hate
the
him.
last one was a jerk.
What last one? It's always
The
only
one
just
that-
been me.
No,
Nothing. There was no last one. Don't worry about it.
Oh, right. No, the last one that I had a dream about that wasn't real and didn't happen. That's the last that one. I had a crazy
Sometimes,
dream.
Nathan, I just don't know about you. I just do not know.
I don't know about anything right now.
Although I think you are you feeling okay, Xander? Because I could have sworn I just heard you say that you hated
Oh,
the new
I'm
Transformers
feeling
movie.
fine. I just happen to hate this latest Transformers movie. There was
You like all of them.
I did, but this one there's not a whole lot to like. There's a lot to hate, and I'm kind of sad about that because I paid money for it. I mean, at least
Wait.
Well, at least you're sad about it because you wanted to like
Yeah.
Transformers and it just didn't
Wait.
live up to your expectations.
So even though you paid money for it, it wasn't good, and that doesn't mean just because you paid for it doesn't make it good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
just
right.
just because
Okay.
something makes
Start.
a metric fuck ton of money, worldwide doesn't mean it's good. I mean, now when it unexpectedly makes a fuck ton of money, it's good. I mean, Avengers making a lot of money meant it was good because it was.
I think
but
we expected Avengers to be good though.
yeah, I think Guardians is going to make a lot of money, and I guess
Guardians looks amazing.
Transformers is making a lot of
I'm
money,
excited
and
for
I'm kind of
Guardians.
sad. I mean, I knew it was going to make a lot of money, but it's like, at least if I liked the movie, then I'd be okay with it making money. But no, it
Because
was.
you'd feel like it was earned.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really not. I don't want to get into it too much because the movie's relatively new, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But
Do you really care about the integrity of the Transformers storyline?
I mean, I guess not. At least I don't anymore.
it's Xander, of course.
I don't
he does.
anymore. Optimus Prime killed a dude. I don't give any shits anymore.
hasn't he killed people before?
Not humans, no. Like
Well, how does that make it better?
he straight up shoots a human
Transformers
in
are his
the
own
face
people.
because like literally one of his first lines in the first movie is that Autobots don't harm humans, and he straight up shoots a dude in the face.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
So he got Moffated basically.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. He basically got Moffated, only by
Ouch.
a guy that isn't Moffat. Although, based on his work, he kind of could be. How weird would that be if Stephen Moffat's been running Transformers movies this whole time under a pen name?
And Michael Bay's been writing Doctor Who?
It would explain a lot.
Well, Michael Bay doesn't
He-
write the Transformers movies, he just directs them. which I guess means he has a lot of control over, because it's always the same dudes. So it's always he must be telling the writer, hey, this is what we want to have in the movie. Can we have a 20-year-old dating a 17-year-old? That'd be awesome.
That's so creepy, though. That's creepy and gross,
Right?
Michael Bay. Let's don't do that.
And it's only hand waved, and it's just like, really, this makes no sense.
Yeah, that's really gross. Actually, I don't like that.
That is horrifying and disturbing, and I am not a
Well,
fan.
don't they do that in, like, Tangled? Isn't Rapunzel, like, 16 and Flynn Rider is, like, 25 or something?
That's always
No,
Disney
Tangled
movies,
is 8.
though.
I mean... No, in Tangled, Rapunzel is actually 18. It starts on her 18th
Oh,
birthday.
right. Okay. I only saw it the one time.
Hell, Little Mermaid starts on, like, Ariel's 16.
Ariel is
16. I
16.
think
Ariel is 16.
or is it Eric's 18th birthday? I think it's Eric's 18th birthday.
Eric's 18th birthday. Ariel is 16.
Yeah.
I know a lot about Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before. I really like that movie, too.
Well, it was one of my favorite movies when I was little. Like, I rewatch it, and there's some weird inconsistencies that don't make a lot of sense to me, but it's still a good movie.
But, yeah, so, I mean, are we still recording? Were you guys wrapping up? I mean...
We were actually about to
okay.
wrap up,
I think I need to go lay down, actually.
okay.
I'm feeling a little
Are you
confused.
all right,
Yeah,
Nathan? Okay.
Nathan's had a hard day, and Nathan, your knuckles are still bleeding.
Nathan, why are your knuckles bleeding? What?
Hang on. Let me... Okay, no. That
Hannah,
tastes
you
like
didn't
my
mention
blood.
Godzilla 98, did you?
No, that tastes like my blood. That's okay. It is me bleeding.
I didn't. No, I did not
Weird,
mention
because
Godzilla.
Nathan really only gets punchy when you mention Godzilla 98.
Don't.
No, sorry. Godzilla 98
That's-
is horrible and should never have been
I'm not
released.
disputing that.
There.
I was just asking about it.
I'm trying to calm Nathan down.
Okay.
That was a lot of fish,
okay.
though.
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, well, apparently, this has been ShallowCast. I'm Xander Grimm, and I'm thoroughly confused.
I'm Nathan Soros. I'm tired and angry, and I need to go lay down.
I'm Black Hole Girl, and I guess it's back to the drawing board for me.
Wait, what?
Who are you?
Don't be such a fool! I'm you!
If you are me, then who am I?
Oh, you're so stupid!